When was the last time that you attended a teacher training session? If it's been a long time, this is a time for you to join us. Next week, on August the 16th, we will have our first face-to-face international seminar that McGraw-Hill is organizing for you all. Hi, I am Katia Adriansen, and alongside Jessica Gallagher, we will be sharing some experiences and talking about the strategies that we hope will be really useful for you. Don't forget to just join us through this link.
English teachers, when was the last time you stepped out of your comfort zone? Join myself, Jessica Gallagher, and Katia Adriansen on August 16th at the UCB Los Olivos campus to learn new ways to implement activities related to the national curriculum. See you then!
This is a story about a girl named Anna. 7 years old, inquisitive mind, winning smile. And like most kids her age, she's grown up playing and learning with digital devices.
Look, Dad, I'm adding. What is a cocoa?
Today, she's starting second grade.
400, 500, 600.
Ready to engage in Miss Henson's interactive math lesson, and then explore on her own. The personalized practice is fun and allows Anna to take an active role in her own learning. Early steps in a lifelong journey. Later, Miss Henson can review how the class did and figure out where to focus next, so that Anna is able to learn on her own path and with her class, all at once. Now, Anna is in second grade, but what if we could see her at any point in her learning journey?
It's going to slow down a little bit, and is that going to freeze when the phase?
In sixth grade, studying phase changes with Mr. Burns, using ice cream as a medium.
I don't understand how I got this.
Or as a junior in Miss K's AP Chem class, trying to draw a sugar molecule. Feeling challenged. Being supported. Improving.
I finished it. We did it!
Sharing success.
We're going to start with the left ventricle, as you can see on the screen.
As a college student, observing her professor lead a virtual heart dissection that gives Anna and her classmates comprehensive, hands-on experience. And when she wants to study for the post-lab quiz, she has instantly personalized study materials. On her phone, on a coffee break. Studying wherever and whenever works best for her, which is critical in med school, so she can focus on her preclinical exam no matter where she needs to be. Because what she learns here has a real-world impact here. And while this story is about Anna, it touches many other lifelong journeys.
Miss Henson. Anna! Oh my gosh!
Some with long histories.
This is my son, Owen. Owen is Miss Henson.
And some which are just beginning. And the company that makes it possible is McGraw-Hill.
January 2020 started normally for students and educators, but by April, everything had changed. The pandemic fundamentally altered the way we teach and students learn.
COVID had a profound impact on education, from even thinking about how we suddenly had to educate students remotely to thinking about the impacts that were happening outside of the school and how that was impacting students within the schools.
In the modern classroom, you have a wide range of abilities. This is one of the areas where technology can actually enable the learning experience, guided by the educator, to make sure that students are getting exactly what they need when they need it.
Our digital solutions help educators support the whole student and transform complex data into easy-to-understand adaptive learning resources that deliver insights and personalization.
Once we're able to capture that rich, fragmented learning data and create a holistic picture for teachers that affects every decision that they make in the classroom, we can make everything that they do more efficient.
Built on our foundation of trusted core curriculum, our growing portfolio of intervention and supplemental products are a vital resource for schools that help fill knowledge gaps and recover learning loss. We know each learner has unique strengths, and everything we do empowers them on their path to growth.
Hello. Hello. Good evening, everyone. We're about to start. Okay, let's start. Yes. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Eureka Libros, Cesar Vallejo University, and McGraw-Hill International, it is a real pleasure to welcome to our first English seminar teaching for upcoming transfer generations and students. Before starting, it is important to be aware of some recommendations, okay? So, please keep in mind that in case of any fire, tremor, or earthquake, it is important to remain calm and locate the nearest exits, which are located on your left. Restrooms for women and men are located outside on the left and right. Feel free to use them. Finally, certificates will be issued 2 weeks after today and will only be issued to the ones who have participated throughout the whole event. Any question, feel free to contact McGraw-Hill or Eureka Libros. Regarding the program of the event, it will cover the following parts. First, the welcoming of our principal authorities from Eureka Libros, Cesar Vallejo University, and McGraw-Hill. Second, we're going to start with the first workshop in charge of Abre. Then you will enjoy the scheduled coffee break and games located outside the auditorium. Second workshop will be in charge of Miss Jessica Gallagher. We will have a round of questions directed to both our speakers once they finish. Finally, Cesar Vallejo University is going to detail the specifics on how to become a certified school for Cambridge exams. And we will proceed to host a raffle for you all. Now, to start with, we have Dr. Erika Evas. Please. Erika Evas is an accomplished educator with a strong academic background in education. She holds a bachelor's degree in education with a focus on language from the Instituto Pedagógico Nacional Monterrico, as well as another bachelor's degree in education from the Universidad Peruana Cayetano Heredia. Dr. De Paz has also pursued further education, earning a master's degree in university teaching and research, as well as a doctorate in education from the Universidad San Martín de Porres. Dr. De Paz has extensive teaching experience across different educational levels, ranging from elementary school to university, highlighting her versatility and pedagogical skills. She has made notable contributions to the educational field, having been involved in implementation of the baccalaureate project on the development of the National Curriculum Plan for English. Throughout her career, Dr. De Paz has held significant positions in various educational institutions. She has taught at multiple universities and served as a director of the School of Translation and Interpreting, academic director of the ATE campus, and head of graduate studies. Additionally, she has been the coordinator of the Language Center at the Lima North campus. Currently, Dr. De Paz is the national head of the Language Center at Universidad Cesar Vallejo, demonstrating her leadership abilities and dedication to improving language education at the institution. Please welcome Dr. De Paz. Some claps.
Good afternoon to everyone. It is a great pleasure to say welcome to you. And thank you. Okay, I cannot see very well, but I wanted to say thank you to all the authorities there and Eureka, who trusted in our university to do this first workshop or seminar that we are about to start. And I'm really grateful because I can see also some friend of mine who started studying with me some years ago, as you can notice. But on behalf of the founder, the authorities of this university, I want to give you a warm welcome and please feel free to count on us. We are here to help everybody, not as teachers, but also as friends. Please, at the end, you can find Miss Julia, who's in charge of the language, the international language exams, and of course, you can contact whenever you want, okay, to help you, and we'll be there. Thank you so much for being here, and one more time, welcome to our university.
Thanks, Dr. Devas. And now, before we start, it's time to invite the Chief Officer of Eureka Libros, Mr. William Grisales. Claps, please. We're going to switch to Spanish for a little bit, okay?
Muy buenas tardes para todos. De parte de Editorial Eureka, es un placer tenerlos a todos acá hoy con nosotros. Este tipo de eventos que nosotros realizamos comúnmente buscan definitivamente la unión de diferentes empresas que se preocupan por la formación, la preparación y compartir ideas y aprendizajes con todas las personas que estamos involucradas en esta tarea tan loable, si se puede decir, de la educación a todos los niveles. Eureka es una compañía que lleva más de 6 años operando en el Perú, 26 años en Latinoamérica. Constantemente estamos cerrando acuerdos con diferentes empresas que nos permiten mejorar cada vez más el servicio hacia ustedes como docentes o directivos docentes, y en esta oportunidad con la Universidad César Vallejo, McGraw-Hill Internacional, y nosotros tenemos la posibilidad de compartir con ustedes este evento. Les damos la cordial bienvenida, no sin antes agradecer muy especialmente al comité directivo de la Universidad César Vallejo, en especial a la doctora Erika de Paz por esta oportunidad, al señor José Carlos Rodríguez por todo el apoyo, la logística, el compromiso, la entrega, muy dispuesto siempre a apoyar, que muestra la excelencia no solo de la calidad académica de una institución, sino de la calidad de personas que son. Para Eureka es un placer tenerlos acá y que esperamos que en estas 4 paredes se compartan no solo ideas o experiencias, sino que superemos los límites y ese status quo en el que a veces podemos caer. Los invitamos a reflexionar, a compartir ideas, a cuestionarse y a cuestionar y a sacar adelante el evento, porque este evento, si bien es cierto es de nosotros, para ustedes, a todos nos pertenece. Bienvenidos a todos y les deseo un éxito en este evento. Muchas gracias.
Okay, before we start the last my words, so let me please introduce myself. Hello everyone, my name is Cristel Gutierrez. First of all, thanks so much from the bottom of my heart for attending this first seminar for English teachers, the ones that you are. Alongside César Vallejo University and Eureka Libros, we have prepared for you this special seminar. My wish, and Eureka Libros wish also, and César Vallejo University's wish, is for you to take the best advantage of it for you and for your students. Because we are the ones attending the seminar, but the ones that are receiving what we learned today are our children. And the children and the students are the center and main reason for this to happen. So, without further information, we're going to start with the first workshop, okay? So please, let's welcome Katia Ariansen. And she is going to be our first speaker. So meanwhile, Katia is coming upstairs. Let me tell you something about Katia. Katia holds a master's degree in education. Claps. Katia holds a master's degree in education from la Universidad de Abre. She has also obtained international certification from Cambridge ETL and has been working in the ELT field for more than 20 years. She has been a teacher of English at all levels, from kindergarten to ORUS. A teacher training preparing teachers to sit international exams apart from training them in specific courses in the primary and secondary level. In the past 20 years, she has also been working as a professor at the Universidad de Abre and a coordinator in prestigious bilingual schools. So once again, let's give some claps for Katia, and let's start. Hi everybody, how are you doing? Wait, are you here? Okay, so you have to say to me, you have to answer me back. How are you doing? So, alright, so tell me, how are you doing? Have to say great, right? First of all, congratulations to all of you for being here. It's just a middle week, and normally we do have classes every day. In fact, I did have finished classes too from school, and I'm here. Alright, so congrats for each of you. I mean, starting from the first row up to the last one. Alright? Today we will have a very interesting topic to talk about. How to teach English to Generation Z. Are we, or do we belong to that generation? We wish, right? Come on, we are a very beautiful generation too. And talking about that, probably we are all from different generations here. Generation X, Generation Y. So sometimes it was just quite hard to understand how we should teach the new generations, right? I was watching the introductory video and I totally agree with it. During the pandemic and after the pandemic, we had just to learn how to reach our students, how to help them just achieve their goals. Alright, so it meant just change our mindset too. Quite hard sometimes, but not impossible. If we love what we do, if we feel that passion about teaching. But my question is, how can I teach English to a group if I don't know what or who they are? Do we know what Generation Z is? Please, one by one. May I have a volunteer who would like to answer it? I can go downstairs and just if you say, yes, me. All right, I do have a volunteer. Thank you. Okay, so I'm just going to go downstairs as a Generation X. Here we go. All right, so excellent. Who would like to be?
Generation Z is creative, they are enthusiastic. For me, they are good, they have energy, a lot of passion to think a lot of things at the same moment. Multitasking.
Thank you very much. So I miss all your generations at then. Okay, thank you. Any other volunteer? Super, thank you very much.
Generation Z means that generation that people want to know by looking at this. All of these specified a little piece of devices that our field manage, and we want to manage at the same way. So we have to be workshops like this in order to be updated to this technology, and how can we get better engaged in our class and our lessons, especially when they are in 10th grade, like my partner Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's true, right? If you see that image, you can see a lot of symbols. Probably, I am just looking at all of you, and I think that we share the same generation. Some of us, younger, older, or full of experiences, right? That's much better to be said. But it's true, now we are dealing with that. So, I mean, in our case, we don't have any traumas, but we learn probably by memorizing long lists of words, or just repeating after the teacher, or just even translating. I don't know you, but I hate translating. Do you? Is it easy for you? Not sometimes, right? Because we learn to think in English, and that's amazing. All right, so I know that we have a short time, so let's see. What generation Z is? Thank you very much. Can you please? Thank you very much. You're right. So it says, people born between 1996 and the year 2010. So it means that nowadays Generation Z are between 7 to 21, 23. All right, 23, because it has been updated up to 2 years ago. And apart from that, you can see that the identity is just connected to the digital era. It doesn't mean that if we continue teaching as we learn, we're going to have any trouble, but we have to keep updating. So it means that, for example, when we started with the pandemic, I mean, I don't know you, but I remember coming to tears because I didn't know how to work with the platform. Everything was new for all of us. We had to learn. We had to learn even if we didn't want to. But we had to learn how to do it, how to deal with these new platforms. But as I said, the goal was just to help our students learn and don't miss those 2 years and just keep on working. Alright, keep on learning. Alright, so apart from that, another characteristic is that they are really worried about climate change. But you know, I can't say anything just because of theory. I'm a school teacher too. And before preparing this presentation, I remember that I asked my students, alright, so you are all generations, tell me, That's great, I love it. Okay, so how do they learn? Okay, how do they learn? They do have, wow, everything, wow, it's alright, it was what we wanted, that's okay, no problem. Okay, what about their learning experiences? First of all, we need to respect their personal needs, and they will know when, where, and what to do. So that's why they will choose the best time, the best place, and the best resources. Why? Because their learning is going to be different from ours. Their learning is going to be active. The famous phrase, hands-on. What does hands-on mean? That we're just going to sit on the floor and just do something with our hands, origami? You may say yes, you may say no. Do we need to do origamis only? Okay, no. Hands-on doesn't mean that we're just going to do some origamis, but we will have just to ask them to do more than we want. Okay, so I know I do have one activity that is just probably from our generation, just to enjoy it and to wake up. But also can be adapted. At the beginning, as I said, when we started this session, we watched a video. They show us a very interesting form to teach our students, right? By using different resources, digital resources. And that's what we can do when teaching our students. New generation, new strategies too. But we're just going to try one activity, but only the first one, please. Thank you. Okay, it says forming new words. Is it possible to form new words by using digital resources? Yes. Is it possible also to use material, can create material to play with? Yes. Awesome. Okay. How many of you wanted to become a teacher since you were at school? Raise your hand. Okay. Nobody. All right. So, how many of us wanted to be another professional, but not teachers? Most of us. So what happened? Oh, we discovered on the way. Probably I have seen some friendly faces today. Very happy to see again after some years. But for example, when I was at school, I wanted to be an architect. Probably you have heard of that story because I always tell my story. I love it. And I'm sorry if I start just coming into tears, but it's true. I wanted to become an architect. Never expected to become a teacher. Never in my life. Even though my mom is a teacher. Alright, and my dad is a journalist, but just from the editing part. The thing is that when I applied for the university, I didn't get in. So I said, alright, in the 90s, alright, I'm not going to say when exactly, but in the 90s, alright, so an architect, friend of my family said, but no, why don't you study another thing? Okay, you know, nowadays architects, don't get so much jobs, so it's much better to find another job. And I said, but I want to be an architect. But okay, I'm just going to study publicity. And I decided to study publicity. In that moment, never thought about becoming a teacher. Never in my life. I said, me being a teacher? No way. Well, after more than 20 years, I'm here, standing still, loving my job, loving my profession. Once I remember I was in a class and I told this story to my students. One of them raised his hand and said to me, teacher, but you are an architect. And I said, come on, what's going on? I said that I'm not an architect. I didn't even enter the university. I didn't study that. And he said to me, you are an architect. Because even if you think that you are a simple English teacher, you are building our lives. I told you. Because it's true. Each of us sitting in this room build students' lives. And I told you that they were really excited for me. It was more than 10 years ago, but I still remember the moment. So, what I wanted to say is that if you had ever thought about becoming an archaeologist, yes? I wanted to be an architect, but can you raise your hand if you had ever thought about becoming an archaeologist? Yeah, really? And what happened? Sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. Well, I wish I could become an archaeologist, but I am also, my other profession is I work as a tour guide. So I know about history, about culture, about...
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing our experience with you. Right, so we may have lots of professions too. I mean, but I think that the most important, most of us know, is just to become a teacher because we're forming lives. That's it. I mean, I don't want to say it again, but it's true. And I can just tell the same story countless times and it has the same effect. Okay, I'm sorry for that. But let's see. What about the first student, please? An archaeologist. All right, so what can I do with that? Some of you know. How many letters can I find the in that word? A lot. A lot, yes? All right, and what can I do with that if the title is forming new words? May I play? What can I do with that word? One by one. If you can separate the roots, okay? You can find the root. All right. In this one, I said nothing to me, but to your partner. What can you do with archaeologists? You have 10 seconds to say something to your partner. But don't be shy. It's not telepathy. This is speaking. 10, 9, 8. I'm going to call those of you who are silent. 7, 6. Don't be shy. Come on, tell your partner what you can do with that. 3, 2, 1. Happy New Year! Oh no, sorry, it's not the time, right? So, let's see. Alright, so, I'm going to do something that I used to do with my students when I taught kindergarten. Clap your hands. Give me a second, yeah? Clap your hands. Clap your hands. Say ha ha. Ha ha ha. Say ha ha. And now be quiet. Love it. Thank you very much. Okay, so I can just find new words. I can find the root. I can just talk about what archaeologists do. I can have a magnet, an organizer, different things. I was just listening to some of you say. But what about the words? By using those letters and not repeating them, which words I can form? So let's just have one example. Car. All right. So I took one. C-A-R. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. Okay. Now, without saying nothing, I want you to think about as many words as you can take from the big word archaeologist. Just come on, try to count it and at least reach 10 words from archaeologist. Okay, you can work in pairs, no problem. It's not telepathy, come on, come on. Super! Okay, I do have a volunteer here. I have I-G-L-O-O. Alright.
H. Let's say H-O-L-E, like O.
Okay, great. So you did four words. Okay, awesome. What about other words here? I know that you have plenty of more words, but I guess that I need to do it faster. Can we continue, please? And just let's check if you have the same words, right? Chair. Raise your hand if you have formed chair. But raise your hand. Awesome. What about the third word? D. Oh. Okay. Fourth word. Logic. Oh, I knew it. Okay. What else? Was she obedient? No, so you see, we are studying a very brief case about Red Riding Hood, and we can do it also with kindergarten or first graders, okay? Next one, simulations. Oh, hello, I am Katia. What about you? How are you? What's your name? My name is? Sonia. Sonia, hi Sonia, how are you?
I'm fine, great.
Are you happy to be here?
Of course.
Love it. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is a very just small role play conversation still. Pretend that you are the teacher, pretend that you are the student, pretend that you are Red Riding Hood, pretend that you are the wolf. Alright? So let's see. And the last one, gaming. Thank you. This is here, bull races. Simon says, we played, Simon said when we were kids. The word jumble race, for example, in the case of the archaeologist example I gave you, we can have races, all right? We can form groups, and we can ask our students to make lists of words by using that word. Obviously, that depending on the theme, on the topic that we are developing in our classes, in our lessons, right? So, word jumble race, the hangman, Pictionary, and charade. Do you like charade? Do you know that we can have that version digitally too? Yes, it's amazing that you just use it, you know. I mean, my mobile phone is, I don't remember where, but okay. Okay, so, I mean, you just put your mobile phone here on your forehead, and you, I mean, the other person has just to guess, and this is great, okay? In fact, 3 weeks ago, I traveled with a couple of friends, and I mean, for an hour we were playing that game. I mean, and just the trip was really, really fast. And I am a Generation Z. Okay, so what to do in general, please? Okay, so these are some learning strategies. As you see, we need just active learning to take place into the classroom, right? So, yes, thank you very much. Inspiring learning environment. Foster creativity and independent work, and appropriate and varied activities. Alright, so something that my students told me when I asked them what they like to do as Generation Z students is that they like doing some research, investigating, just trying to develop their lessons on their own pace. And we need to respect that, because remember that not everybody learns the same. Sometimes, okay, we want everybody to learn very quickly, but we can't force them to do that. Okay, so, which are, thank you. Okay, so which are the wonders? I have the control now. Super, thank you. All right, so what do we need? We need just to discover all the wonders we'll have in the teaching world. Okay, what is our teaching work here? So, the best part of our profession is that we can do whatever we want. Just having set the goal, we are done. Are you ready to discover it? Yes! So, some ideas, some wonders like Machu Picchu. Graphic organizers. Raise your hand, please, if you use graphic organizers. Ooh, I don't know if your hands are down is because you don't use them or because you are sleeping or chatting. Our graphic organizers are really good help in our classes. amazing. Not only for organizing information, but also for brainstorming some ideas, alright? So we can start our classes by using graphic organizers and we can reach lots of things. Second thing, sequence events. Is it important? Is it easy? Is it easy for our students? What happened first? Did you arrive? Did I start talking? I saw her right later. Okay, so we can have different answers, right? But what happens, for example, when we do give our students this type of exercise and we evaluate that? I don't know if you have had the experience, but sometimes I give them these exercises, and if they make only one mistake, everything is wrong. So we have to be very careful of the activities that, we can provide them of different activities, but what about evaluating all? It's not necessary to evaluate all. It's not fair for them to evaluate them all. Alright, so dictation rates. How is it? Okay, let's see. Imagine that we are divided in 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can do it now because we have time. I don't know what I don't remember. So let's imagine that I say, even with kindergarten students, okay? So they don't probably know how to write, but we can use flashcards. We can use pictures, right? We can just also develop other strategies with first graders, starting with spell new words. With secondary students, they can learn even about history. When was the telephone invented? When was the bicycle invented? What about global warming? What about so many different things that we can give them, and they feel really interested in. So, we'll go next one. Debate and web quest. How many of you have tried, asking your students to do some debates? Is it easy for them? Not so easy. Why? Because of language, because of the topic. Any other ideas here? Victims or volunteers? Vocabulary? Apart from that, remember that it was 2 years gap. During the pandemic, it was 2 years gap. We tried to do our best, but unfortunately, not everybody reached the scene, right? Because of technology, and I don't even remember, Miss, I have internet issues. 2 reasons. They wanted to escape from our classes, or it was true that there was voice that. I'm sorry. Does anybody have anybody who was voice that? But everybody was to blame them. But it was true. Sorry. So what about the web quest? What is it? Have you used it? Yes. You have series of questions and you have to find the information, you have to find the answers on the internet, on the web. And they love it. They really, really love it. Okay? So let's see. Acrostic poems. Have you tried? No? For example, if I am talking about, the environment, they can write an acrostic poem by using the word water, global warming, ozone layer, and a lot. So that's why it's so important to start by using graphic organizers. In this case, for example, can you see the picture there? Okay, what can we do with that picture? We can describe it.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, as you said, they can describe it or they can mention parts of the house depending on the grade.
Yes? That's your remark, okay? Yes, depending on the grade, depending on the level, they can just describe it, mention the rooms in a house. What else? Okay, go ahead.
Maybe as we are talking about the parts of the house, they can circle or they can be in or out of the house.
Inside sounds great. Okay, so any other ideas? You can brainstorm, yeah. We can start with vocabulary. Great. Would you like to say something too? You may say why you bought a new house. You see? Okay. Another idea.
Maybe you can talk about adjective. It's beautiful, etc.
Great. You can describe by using adjectives. So you see, and the only title was a new home. But by using graphic organizers, as you can see, we can have lots of things. So what about this? Okay, family. Then you have another furniture. Nationality, because you mentioned something about moving, alright? So we can also just talk about nationalities. The language you use in your new home. Also, the conversation that we are supposed to have among the members of the family. Then the meals that we have, that we share the rooms. Alright, the environment that we just have in our houses, the people live in our houses, the decoration. Okay, then we can say if you feel homesick, if you travel abroad, then your neighbors. And you can mention, you said something about the adjectives, right? They are amazing. They are, yes. Okay, what if I wanna just make my graphic organizer bigger and just to increase my vocabulary? I can start just saying something else about each category. Like for example, furniture, I can just mention the sofa, I can say table, I can also say shelf, and a lot more. Because I can, in the table, I can say the material, plastic table, wooden table, and so on. Okay, how much time have I got? 6. Okay, I will rush out. Thank you. Was it easy? And which skills are we helping, our students to develop by doing this graphic organizer? Sorry? Productive skills, yes. Alright, let's imagine that this is just the beginning of an activity. What can I do? I do have the graphic organizer, I brainstorm a lot of words, so I have more vocabulary. So don't you think that I can use this to start new activities? Is it possible to write a composition after doing this brainstorming? Yeah. May I ask my students to use just 5 or 10 words by brainstorming first? What else? Is it possible to start debating, to start a very interesting debate after doing this graphic organizer? I can see some of you nodding your heads. Yeah. For example, you saw the word homesick. So we can say, why do people feel homesick? Which are the main reasons for people just to get homesick? Have you ever felt homesick? Is feeling homesick good? Is it bad? And we can start debating also, right? And just to end up, okay? Remember, at the beginning of the session, as I said, I saw different series, right, that contain a lot of these interesting activities. And I think that, I don't know if it's possible that you may ask for a visit probably just to present these programs too. Yes, okay. yet, but I asked you to. Okay, so what about the different apps that we can also use? Probably most of you know that we can have Kahoot. Do you like Kahoot? Yes. Love it. And the best part is that probably we will have a lot of exercises on the web and we can use them. But I suggest to check them before playing them with your students, because I remember that once I was about to play it and I discovered that there was something not appropriate, not only in grammar, not only in spelling, but also inappropriate for our students, all right? So we need to check it before. Also, Nearpod, have you just said? All right, so we have Potune. We have very interesting videos there, just to present grammar too. Padlet. All right, I can see smiley faces. I love it. So, are we part of the generation Z, or we had to learn it? We had to. Okay. Then another one, Jamboard. Yalla, you said, right? Okay, so Google Classroom. Yalla, all right. So come on, another one, Google Meet. We had to learn, remember? I mean, I had to teach through Google Meet at the beginning of the pandemic, and it was like, because we had to learn, but now it's like, Sophie, come on. All right, then, Microsoft Teams. Quite complicated at the beginning, but pretty familiar too. Zoom. Yes. Canvas. Yeah, interesting. And Readly too. Have you used it? And Mentimeter. I mean, I do have a lot of them, so we can just vary. Apart from the resources McGraw-Hill can provide us in their series, you can also use this. Alright? Let's try to make our classes the most enjoyable ever. And I don't know, but I want to tell you a secret that probably is not a secret, but you will tell me. Who's the favorite teacher at school? Say it. Who's the favorite teacher at school? You have to say me. Come on. Who's the favorite teacher at school? Me. And we are all English teachers. That's why I'm going to ask yourself just to give us a huge, enormous, and really noisy applause, okay? Thank you very much to all of you. I hope we just can keep in touch, and apart from that, remember, sometimes I know this is time consuming, energy consuming, a lot of consuming for a teacher. But if we do love what we do, we will never work a day in our life. Thank you very much for all of you, and that's it.
Thanks, Katia. Please, let's give one more round of applause for Katia. Because we have a round of questions at the end, okay? So you can ask whatever you need, even her phone number.
But not difficult, please.
Okay. Okay, so now it's time for what? What follows on the program? What? The coffee break. Okay, so before you run out of your seats, please stand up in line in order as we are in a classroom. Remember when our students go out running? We don't want that. There is for all. Nobody's going to say, nobody's going to go out without food. So please, in order, you will find a coffee break outside, yeah, and you will find some games. Please remember who's coming next after the coffee break. Jessica. Where is Jessica? Miss Jessica Gallagher is out there, so she will be waiting for you. Let's take 15 minutes. No more, please. Feel free to go and join and enjoy.
When was the last time that you attended a teacher training session? If it's been a long time, this is a time for you to join us. Next week, on August 16th, we will have our first face-to-face international seminar that McGraw-Hill is organizing for you all. Hi, I am Katia Adriansen, and alongside Jessica Gallagher, we will be sharing some experiences and talking about the strategies that we hope will be really useful for you. Don't forget to just join us through this link.
English teachers, when was the last time you stepped out of your comfort zone? Join myself, Jessica Gallagher, and Katia Adriansen on August 16th at the UCB Los Olivos campus to learn new ways to implement activities related to the national curriculum. See you then!
This is a story about a girl named Anna. 7 years old, inquisitive mind, winning smile. And like most kids her age, she's grown up playing and learning with digital devices.
Look, Dad, I'm adding. What is for Coco?
Today, she's starting second grade.
300, 400, 500, 600.
Ready to engage in Miss Henson's interactive math lesson, and then explore on her own. The personalized practice is fun and allows Anna to take an active role in her own learning. Early steps in a lifelong journey. Later, Miss Henson can review how the class did and figure out where to focus next, so that Anna is able to learn on her own path and with her class, all at once. Now, Anna is in second grade, but what if we could see her at any point in her learning journey?
It's going to slow down a little bit, and is that going to freeze when the phase...
In sixth grade, studying phase changes with Mr. Burns, using ice cream as a medium.
I don't understand how I got this.
Or as a junior in Miss K's AP Chem class, trying to draw a sugar molecule. Feeling challenged. Being supported. Improving.
I finished it. We did it!
Sharing success.
We're going to start with the left ventricle, as you can see on the screen.
As a college student, observing her professor lead a virtual heart dissection that gives Anna and her classmates comprehensive, hands-on experience. And when she wants to study for the post-lab quiz, she has instantly personalized study materials on her phone, on a coffee break. Studying wherever and whenever works best for her, which is critical in med school, so she can focus on her preclinical exam no matter where she needs to be. Because what she learns here has a real-world impact here. And while this story is about Anna, it touches many other lifelong journeys.
Miss Henson. Anna. Oh my gosh.
Some with long histories.
This is my son, Owen. Owen is Miss Henson.
And some which are just beginning. And the company that makes it possible is McGraw-Hill.
January 2020 started normally for students and educators, but by April, everything had changed. The pandemic fundamentally altered the way we teach and students learn.
COVID had a profound impact on education, from even thinking about how we suddenly had to educate students remotely to thinking about the impacts that were happening outside of the school and how that was impacting students within the schools.
In the modern classroom, you have a wide range of abilities. This is one of the areas where technology can actually enable the learning experience, guided by the educator to make sure that students are getting exactly what they need when they need it.
Our digital solutions help educators support the whole student and transform complex data into easy-to-understand adaptive learning resources that deliver insights and personalization.
Once we're able to capture that rich, fragmented learning data and create a holistic picture for teachers that affects every decision that they make in the classroom, we can make everything that they do more efficient.
Built on our foundation of trusted core curriculum, our growing portfolio of intervention and supplemental products are a vital resource for schools that help fill knowledge gaps and recover learning loss. We know each learner has unique strengths, and everything we do empowers them on their path to growth.
have a grab of food to fill your stomach. We're going to continue with Jessica Gallagher. Okay? So, let's see. Let's start. Let me tell you something. Teacher from the United States of America. She studied at the State University of New York, New Paltz, for her undergraduate education. Also had a minor in creative writing. She participated in various research projects which led her to understand the importance of educational research. While teaching in New York City, because Jessica has lived through the reality of New York, she graduated from the City University of New York, Howard College, esteemed School of Education with a master's degree in teaching English as a second language with a focus on sociolinguistics. She created programs and advocated for immigrant and minority students to help them a voice in their communities. Finally, Jessica has spent the last decade teaching English as a second language for students in grades K to 12, as well as university level. She moved to Peru in 2019 before the pandemic, where she continues to teach and promote the importance of English education. Let's please give a warm welcome of applause for Jessica. Thank you so much, everyone. And just having this space to talk about different ideas and there we go. Okay, so I'm here today to talk to you about strategies to teach English in your classroom aligned with the national curriculum, something everyone here loves, right? So the first thing I'd like you to do is, if you have learned something today, raise your hand as high as you can. If you have learned something today, raise your hand as high as you can. Try and raise it a little higher, a little bit higher, right? Awesome. So, just like raising our hands, are we doing our best for our students? I want you to think about this question, right? Are we showing up for our students but staying here? Or are we showing up for our students and reaching for the best materials, the best curriculum, the best research practices? Have we plateaued as teachers, meaning that we're very comfortable, we have a good curriculum from last year, we print out our worksheets and we say, that's it, my students are A2, so they're going to stay A2, right? Or do we challenge our students and stay up to date on the best resources possible? And I know every single person here is dedicated to their students because you're here. You want to learn, and you want to try new things within your classroom. So this man named Stephen Krashen, some of you may be familiar with him, in the 1970s, he brought us this great idea. It's called the I+1 hypothesis, or the input hypothesis. What he told us is that if we just teach to our students' current level what the students already know, so my students know simple past, my students know present continuous, my students know future, right, simple future. But we don't challenge them, they're just going to stay here. And how many times do we see our students, maybe in 9th grade, they're A2, 10th grade, they're A2, 11th grade, they're A2, right? I see some people nodding their heads. If we want to challenge our students and get them to that B2, C1 level, what do we have to do? We need to teach +1 above their current level. Okay, so just a little bit more. Just raising that hand a tiny, tiny bit more. I like to think of this hypothesis as the Goldilocks idea, right? We all know the story of Goldilocks, how she found her bed, right? So she went into one, too small. Went into the next one, too big. Went into another one, just right. Goldilocks was wrong, right? She was totally wrong. In order to grow, we cannot stay in the bed that's just right.
We need to push ourselves and go into a bigger bed where there's room to grow. Okay? So, when we're talking about the national standards, Mededu defines a proficient English student as someone who knows how to use English to communicate for different purposes and perform communicative tasks, right? Makes use of language according to the context, understands and produces different types of text with cohesion and accuracy. Right? In order to do that, we look at three things. We look at expression or oral expression and comprehension. We look at comprehension or reading comprehension, and then also production of text. Right? These are the three things in our national standards that we want to hit. In doing so, we are hitting all four modalities, right? So we have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Yeah, everybody's saying it, we all know it, right? Perfect. So what I want to show you are some strategies that maybe you haven't considered in a while. Maybe it's been a few years since you've really pushed yourself or challenged yourself with these different things that we have to hit in order to teach our students. So the first one we know, oral expression and comprehension, the ability to comprehend and produce language in a variety of real-world scenarios, right? Yep, see, he's shaking heads. So what I'd like you to do is think to yourself, what strategies do you currently use to teach speaking and listening? Okay? What strategies do you currently use to teach speaking and listening? Any ideas? Any ideas? Oh! Coming over. You got this.
Good evening. Okay, one of the strategies I use for improving the speaking and listening at the same time with students is the English mode. It is the name I call it, and I've been using it since last year, and it's been working really great. So what is it about? Students, like all the classroom, you speak English, you use the vocabulary we're looking at, they should look at some pictures, and they should give like sentences. If they don't know how to speak English, then they can get it right. That's one of the ideas I do.
I think that's a great idea. I heard some people up here say role play. How many people do role plays in their classroom? Yeah, a lot of people do role playing. Any other ideas? What about for, okay, all of the way in the back, making me run.
Thank you. To develop a listening activity, first they have to read the information that is provided with the questions and the alternatives and choices, and then listen carefully. Maybe you can give a chance to listen a second time if it's necessary.
Okay, thank you so much. So we're doing this in our classrooms currently. We know that we're teaching speaking, we know that we're teaching listening. So I want to just share with you 4 strategies that are very, very important when we're teaching speaking and listening. So the first one is repeat and clarify. Now I'm going to read a sentence to you guys. Are you ready? Are you ready? Yes. Okay, ready? I was watching the game and she's so flaky, she didn't show up. Did you get that? 100%? You understood me? No, right? I'm going to repeat. I was watching the game and Mary was going to come over, but she's like so flaky she didn't show up. Right? So that's my repeat. Right? So maybe you understood a little bit more there. Now my clarify. There's a word in here, flaky. Has anybody ever heard the word flaky? Let's use context clues, okay? So if Mary was going to come, but she didn't come, and now she's flaky, what could that mean? What do you think? I'm not sure. It means that she's someone who cancels plans a lot, right? So in repeating and going again, repeating again, and then clarifying, you understand that sentence just a little bit more. How long did that take me? 3 seconds, right? But that's going to help your students significantly. My next one here, who can tell me what is the most important aspect of learning English? What is one thing you need to learn English? Is it vocabulary? Is it reading? Is it writing? It's confidence, okay? You give me a kid any day who has the confidence to speak English, who's never ever learned English in their life, I can get them to learn English, right? How do we get students to become confident? Is it when they come into our classroom, we tell them, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong? No. We have to embrace errors, okay? So we have to be intentional about which errors we correct. And in doing so, we build that confidence, which is called the affective filter, okay? So we build that confidence to tell our students, you can speak English, you can write in English, you can read in English, right? The next one here is pretty simple, but really important. It's utilizing sentence starters. Does anyone in here use sentence starters? Nobody? Some people? Some people? So what you can do is you can have something on your board, or you can even do it verbally. I always have these little pencils in my class. They say, I agree, or I disagree. And then when students are speaking, if I want them to use that language, I just go over to the board and I point to it, right? I say, use this language. Yeah, like phrases, exactly. And then another one that's incredibly important, but we don't do enough, is stretching wait time, okay? When we're teaching in our classrooms, I understand there's a ton of pressure, right? If you have an administrator come in, all the students need to be sitting there perfectly still, or they need to be participating, getting every single answer right, right? That's what everyone wants to see. People don't like silence. It's uncomfortable, right? So I want you to think to yourself, when was the last time you used wait time in your classroom, right? Do you hear that? That's everyone thinking, right? We're giving everyone a minute to think before answering, right? Typically for ESL students, you want about 5 to 10 seconds before continuing with the lesson or before choosing a student. We all have that student who loves to participate, and every time you ask a question, their hand goes up, right? And as the teacher, it's so easy for us to say, yep, 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 give me the answer, right? How often do we neglect other students in the classroom simply because they didn't have enough time to think, right? Okay, moving on now to reading comprehension. This is our ability to process written text, understand its meaning, and to integrate with what the reader already knows. So what strategies for teaching reading comprehension do you use in your classroom? I want you to take about 6-7 seconds, turn to the person next to you, and discuss which strategies you use. Did you want to share? Okay, 1 second.
I like looking at different scanning, reading for gist, reading for all of these. Yep. Okay, so raise your hand if you are an elementary teacher, if you teach little guys or inicial. Oh, we have a lot here today. That's great. So, before you start your book, even for my secondary guys, what should you be doing? This is what I see people do a lot. Okay guys, today we're going to read this book. It's called Our Earth by Anne Rockwell. Let's start. No. Right? Look at this book that we're going to read today. Look at that picture. What colors do you see? What do we think this book is about? Why is the boy sitting like that? Is he happy? Is he sad? Right? You get students engaged and interested before you even open the book. Right? So that's my pre-reading. And you can even do that with your secondary students. You can take the book and you can put a video from YouTube about a topic and then have them discuss, right? Before you open the book, there are strategies that you should do. Next one is modeling the skill. I know that we have amazing teachers here who love to model, right? If our expectations are here, but the students don't know what the expectations are, they're going to deliver here. And it's going to cause frustration for everyone involved. So for example, if I want to model how I can figure out a vocabulary word using different pictures, using context clues, I would say something like, it is a big round globe. I don't know that word round. That's a really big word. I've never heard that in my life. But if I look at this picture here, I can see that this world, or the globe, is a perfect circle. Right? So I'm thinking that maybe round means circular. Right? Now, your students understand the expectations and what they have to do in order to accomplish that skill. If you just tell your students, go back to your desks, figure out these 10 vocabulary words using context clues, what does that mean, right? Next one, create a culture of reading. How many people in here are currently reading a book? Some. I know it's super hard. We don't have a lot of time, right? You get home, you're exhausted, you lesson plan, you talk to parents. It's a lot, I get it. How can we expect students to want to read in English when we ourselves don't read English? How can we expect our students to even become a community of readers when we're not even reading in Spanish? Right? One thing that I always did is I kept a young adult book or a graphic novel on my desk. And when students would come in, I would say to them, oh, I'm reading this book, right? It's a great book. And you show them a variety of genres so that maybe they become interested in reading themselves at home. And the last one, to utilize visuals. So I know someone in the back had mentioned this. Visuals, especially for our ESL students, are incredibly important. So for example, if I'm teaching a book about sports, maybe I come and I show them all these different flashcards of different sports, and we brainstorm those words. When you put a visual with a vocabulary word, it sinks, it sticks within your head. Another idea you can do with your vocabulary is to pre-teach it before the students have even started reading. So for example, some of my lovely students made this beautiful poster that I'm sure they would be very proud that I'm showing you right now, of Snoopy, of all different types of sports. This poster goes on the wall for the entirety of that reading, right? So they can constantly refer to it. Okay, and our last one here, text production. The ability to create a variety of text utilizing real-world examples in order to write in a variety of genres. So strategies for teaching writing do you use in your classroom? Let's do a show of hands. How many people teach the 5-paragraph essay? Does anyone teach this? Introduction, 3 paragraphs, conclusion. Yep, right, this is a very classic method. We've got all of our graphic organizers set for next year, right? So one idea I would like to leave you with is writing with purpose. How often do our students get an assignment? For example, write a 5-paragraph essay about global warming. They go and they write it, they hand it in, you grade it, and then what happens to that essay? In the garbage, right? They don't care about it anymore, right? When you write with purpose, when you give them real-world scenarios to write for, they become engaged with the material. For example, write a letter to the mayor of your district about a problem you would like to solve. Create a blog about fashion, right? You're taking these real-life scenarios, write an email to your favorite celebrity asking them to come to your school dance, right? They become very engaged with this material because they're writing with purpose. Okay, the next one goes back to my original idea. Encourage cycle writing. So what is cycle writing? Not our typical instructions, right? Hand in for a grade, get the grade, put it in the garbage, right? That's a linear process. We don't like that. We want brainstorming, drafting, proofreading, editing, publishing, and sometimes starting it over again, right? Too often we skip the really vital brainstorming and drafting stages because of time. It really is just because of time, right? So when we have this cycle writing, you can start to ask yourself, am I a process teacher or am I a product teacher? Do I care more about learning the process of how to write or more about that end product, right? Next one, provide high and low stakes opportunities. Maybe you have those students in your class who hate English writing, right? Why? Because we're just giving them these projects or these essays that are so high stakes. This is 30% of your grade. This is going to count for 50% of the trimester. That is so much pressure that our students don't need. Remember, the main thing we want to build is confidence. And if we're saying to them this one essay is worth 15% of your grade, they're not going to want to write. Or they're going to think that that essay needs to be perfect. And is writing ever perfect? No. So what are we teaching them, right? How can you include some low stakes opportunities? For example, come on into the classroom. Take 5 minutes. Write 3 sentences about your weekend. No grade. Right? Or turn to the person next to you. Ask them what their favorite movie is, and then write down what they say. No grade. Right? So that's just creating more opportunities for them to try out different types of writing without that pressure of, oh my goodness, did I capitalize correctly? Did I punctuate correctly? Did I spell everything correctly? And our last one here, which is my favorite one, is to publish work. How often do you celebrate your students' writing in your classroom? Probably not very often. How often do you tell your students, hey, I want you to get up in front of the class and I want you to read that poem because that's an amazing poem. Or I want to create a class newspaper with everyone's descriptive essays in it, right? Or let's take all of your scientific reports that you wrote and let's share it with all of the teachers in the school, right? This creates that confidence. This makes students say to themselves, not only am I a writer, but I'm an English writer, right? You have that confidence. Another idea that I love that I've seen in elementary schools, all the way into secondary schools, all the way into university, is to have a publishing party. So you take the students' work from the whole year, you say, I want you to choose one piece that you're really proud of, that you love. And then we're all going to sit in a circle, sometimes you bring snacks, and we're going to talk and read those pieces, and we're just going to say how amazing they are, right? We're not going to critique them, I'm not giving you a grade, but we're just celebrating the students as writers. Quiz time. Hopefully everybody's been listening, right? Oh no, there's some scared faces. Okay, so from the McGraw-Hill textbooks,
little guys, we have this activity. It says, I feel happy, and you can see that there's 4 different types of emotions. It also provides you with a song, right? Which of my competencies or which of my modalities can this hit? Speaking, listening, reading, writing. Speaking, reading, listening, right? We got 3 of them right there, check, right? National curriculum, so easy to hit. What about the upper middle school, learning zone 3? Writing a report. A report gives important information about things. They want you to write a different report about insects. What's this one? Reading, writing. Can you make it speaking? Right? You can have a publishing party. Is writing a report about different insects that the students have learned about, is that relevant and engaging to their lives? Yeah, right? Maybe your students love bugs. Okay, how about this one from Everyday English 1? Big and small. Put an X for correct answer in each picture. Circle the zoo animal that is sad with blue. That is tired. Thanks. Tired with green, and that's happy with red. What's this one? You got this. You can do this. Speaking, reading, writing, or listening? Reading. Reading. Could it be writing? For my really, really little guys who are still working on letter formation and are simply working on drawing shapes, right? This could be something about writing as well. I also love how if you look at the bottom, it says language skills, and it gives you the different phrases you can use, right? That's an example of modeling that language before students start. Okay, in this one here, we have this awesome paragraph about space, and it says, read the article again and choose true or false from the following statements. Reading, right? I would say this one's definitely reading. Imagine you have been living in a new country for 6 months. A friend is asking you to tell him or her about your life there. Complete the mind map with ideas to type your email in 180 words or more. And this is from the older series, the BAE. Writing. Is this product writing or is this process writing? Process. It's a brainstorm. Is it relevant? Is it engaging to write an email? Yeah, right? It's very relevant to their lives. They need to know how to write an email. Okay, and then we have 2. The top green one, it says complete the sentence, listen and check. Listening, reading and writing, right? And the bottom one, talk with a classmate. Speaking, right? Yeah, and this one's from Learning Zone 3, which is the middle school one. And then we also have more bugs. Read, look, and answer the questions. Reading, definitely reading. You could make it speaking if you want to read it out loud. Writing. Yeah, definitely. And I think this is our last one here. Discuss the following questions with a partner. Speaking, right? You're really engaged with the person that you're asking those questions to. Oh, last one. Okay, so this is for the older grades. It says argumentative essay, And then the first, you can see guided model, interactive model, plan, draft, revise, edit. So what's this one? Writing, right? And this is my cycle of writing. You're starting with your brainstorm and then you're moving on. It's not just handing in the essay at the end, right? So, to finish on up, I'm going to ask you to raise your hand really, really high again, and this time super high. Who's ready to challenge and engage their students with purposeful activities? Hopefully everybody. Okay, thank you guys so much for your time.
Thanks, Jessica. And we finished? Wait, we haven't finished. We are missing the last part, which is the raffle. Okay, we're going to do a raffle. We're going to give you some prizes for coming here and making to train ourselves. And we're going to finish with Cambridge, how to become a Cambridge certificate school trainer. Okay, preparation center for Cambridge exams. Okay, so let's proceed with the raffle. Yep. Daisy. This event has been organized by Eureka Libros and McGraw-Hill. Okay, so let me introduce myself once again, briefly. My name is Cristel. McGraw-Hill textbooks. So let me tell you about something about McGraw-Hill. Have you ever heard of it? Never? Okay, our phrase is because education changes everything. But we do not only work in English teaching, okay? We also work in other fields such as science, mathematics, and chemistry, medicine, different fields. So, can we move on? ¿Podemos continuar con las siguientes slides? ¿Podemos continuar con las siguientes? It's a little bit slow. It's a little bit slow. It's good. Okay, so as I was telling you, we have over 130 years of experience in education. Okay, pasamos a la siguiente. Can we move on to the next one? It's loading. Okay. Okay, so as I told you before, we have formed lots of doctors, engineers, and also scientists in our field. And now it's time for us to move to children and teens. That is seminar what it's about. Next one, please. We have courses for maths, language, science, both in English and Spanish for children and teens. We have also some programs. Pasamos a la siguiente. Let's move on to the next one. also have Spanish textbooks for science, mathematics, okay, that you may see here. And finally, what you may be interested about and what you have seen out there are the English language teaching books that we promote. Okay, so feel free please to contact our friends from Eureka or myself directly to our email or just Google us, and we will be happy to assist with you and your school. So, okay, these are some other digital solutions that we have in mathematics related to artificial intelligence and also chemistry, both in English and Spanish. So if your school is planning to become bilingual, that's a good option for you to take into account. And finally, we make each learner, so we try to make each learner's learning path possible. Thank you so much, and now it's time to welcome Miss Julia, right? Yeah? Miss Julia?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Julia Escobar, and in this opportunity, I'm going to be in charge of representing, Cambridge English, international exams, Alright, so this is going to be a kind of short presentation because it's basically sharing some information with you all. Right, I'm very pleased to be with you all today. I haven't seen so many teachers since the pandemic began, so yeah, I feel really glad to be with all of you today. Well, this is going to be the short agenda for today. First, we are going to take a look at the international exams at Cesar Vallejo University, and then we're going to move on to who is Cambridge Assessment English, and the exam journey, the Michigan exams, and finally, what is the Common European Framework of Reference, which I'm pretty sure you may know well about this. Okay. All right. Well, everybody knows, well, you are aware about the necessity of learning English. Has become nowadays. Yes, I'm not going to go deeper into it because you may be aware about the lots of benefits we have, right? It offers. But there are many people saying, I speak English, right? They say, I speak English. Lots of people say, oh yeah, I have a good command of the language. But unfortunately, many of them cannot prove it. So, having an international certification, we're talking about Cambridge or Michigan, offers this, no? The opportunity of holding an international certification, all right? And as you may know, it opens lots of doors, like traveling abroad, better employment opportunities, and studying abroad, for example, applying for a scholarship in an overseas university. Okay, so that is the Cesar Vallejo University has become an authorized center for Cambridge exam. Well, actually, we are more than 10 years administering Cambridge exams, and this year we have become an authorized center for Michigan language exams as well, all right, the MET. All right, so who is Cambridge English? As you may know, all right, Cambridge English is of the University of Cambridge. Okay? It's an international non-profit organization with over 100 years of expertise in English language assessment. They help millions of people learn English and prove their skills to the world. Okay, so as you may see, so far there are more than 60 million exams and tests taken to date. 50,000 schools to date use the qualifications each year, supports 20 million digital learners, 5.5 million qualifications and tests taken every year, and is accepted by over 25,000 organizations worldwide. I mean, this means universities around the world, companies, educational institutions, and so on. Exams and tests taken in over 130 countries. Okay, what is an exam journey? Okay, one of the advantages of Cambridge exams is that children can start taking the exam at a very young age. No, so we start with A1 starters, okay, and then they move to movers, and then they go to A2 flyers, or A2 key for schools, which is more like for young adult or adult students. And then we have the B1 preliminary schools, B2 first for school, C1 and C2. These exams are oriented to school students, all right? Because we have the exam for schools, and then we have the standard version, okay? And we have the paper-based and the computer-based exams, all right? Many times, candidates usually ask, they say, but what's the difference between paper-based and computer-based exams? All right. Well, first of all, I have to say that paper-based are offered always for children, for young learners. Always. There are no computer-based exams for children. All right, for young learners. However, if we talk about A2 and on, yes, there are the two versions. And sometimes candidates are undecided about this. No? They say, oh, but which would be the best option for me? I mean, so the answer here is kind of simple. All right, you have to see which one you feel more comfortable with. This is what I usually tell candidates. No, whenever they come and they ask for some advice, I usually tell them, okay, feel free to decide. I mean, try to choose the one that you feel more comfortable with. Why? Because if you feel that you are better, believe it or not, there are young students, very young students, candidates, who have come to me and said, no, I prefer paper-based exams. We know that they are more like digital learners, digital natives, right? And we tend to think that they might choose computer-based, but this is not always the case, right? So what I can say is that in the paper-based, the results will take longer, all right? Like 1 month, maybe a month and a half, just to get the results. And then another month or maybe 2 months to get the certificates. However, in a computer-based is faster, it's much faster. You just get the results just in 2 weeks, okay? Just in 2 weeks. And then the certificates, I mean, just 1 more month. All right, here at the Cesar Vallejo University, we offer paper-based for children, for young learners, but computer-based for young adults, no? For the other exams. Another question that candidates used to ask is like, oh, if I'm going to take the computer-based exam, oh, I'm going to take it at home. But this is not the case, right? You need to come to our premises to take the exam in a lab, right? Because we have to follow certain protocols. It's not that you're going to take the exam in the comfort of your home on a computer. I know that there are other exams which can be taken at home, but this is not the case for Cambridge. There are invigilators walking around, seeing what you are doing during the exam. Okay, well, so this is basically the difference between both exams. Another advantage for the computer-based exams is that, for example, when you do the writing part, a candidate starts writing and there is a counter appearing at the top of the computer. So you don't need to worry about how many words you are writing, because it will show, the counter will show automatically. This doesn't happen when you take an exam paper, because you have to count. You actually have to count yourself, all right? And this might be some kind of stressful, especially if you are going through an exam like this, right? Okay. Let's move on. Yeah, this is the exam journey, which is basically the same. It's going from one exam and following on to the next one. Learning English or learning a language can be a long process. That's why the exam journey takes time. It's not something that we're going to do just within a few months. All right, this takes time. However, Cambridge has designed these exams carefully so that the learner moves from one level to another one smoothly. Okay, smoothly. And okay, so this is basically what I was telling you about. We have the standard version, and then we have the exams for schools. All right, exams for schools. And another concern that school teachers have. I don't know if there are here, teachers who are actually preparing for international exams, not only Cambridge, because there are some others. One concern is that sometimes they believe that if they take the Cambridge exams for schools, all right, they might think that the level is going to be lower, or the certificate will say that they are taking for schools or something like that, but this is not the case. No, we would like to take just the standard version. Or someone say, no, we would like to have it for schools. Okay? So it's basically the same. Sometimes teachers or parents tend to believe that there is some kind of difference, and the answer is no. The only difference between these two exams is just that the topics. If it's for school, if it's for students, then the topic is going to be related to their age, not the school environment, the sports, those kind of things. All right, then we have also Michigan exams. We have become an authorized Michigan exam center this year, just a few months. Candidates also need to come to our premises to take this exam in a lab, no? The Michigan English test is a multi-level English proficiency exam for secondary school students and adults. It helps people achieve their education and career goals by providing trusted English language exams that draw on the expertise of two of the world's leading universities. It's available anywhere in the world, any day of the year. One of the advantages of taking this exam is that you can take it every month. Okay, you just come here and there should be a date, well, here or any authorized center. In the case of Cambridge, it's a bit different. We usually have exams in January, then in March, then in June, October, well, and November, December, which is the peak season, as I call it. All right, and the results are just in 5 days. The results release. Secures platform for result sharing with accepting worldwide organization as well. Well, and finally we have the Common European Framework. No, not yet. Which is the international standard for describing language ability. Okay, it has 6 levels, starting from A1 basic through C2 expert. It describes basically what learners can do at each level of learning a language, and it covers the 4 skills. Okay, one of the things that I have to say about, well, just to finish, I have to say about taking these international exams. In the case of Cambridge, for example, well, also from Michigan, is that when the first thing that you get is your statement of results, right? And the statement of results shows your performance during the exam, during the test, all right? So it tells you, it doesn't give you only a score, all right, or a letter, or both, no? Not only that, but it tells you how you have been doing throughout the test, right? Your performance in reading, your performance in writing, in listening, in speaking. So that gives you a clear idea of your strengths and weaknesses and your goals for the next test. All right. Well, that was all. So we invite you, all right, to come over whenever you come, for you or maybe for your students to take one of these exams. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And now time for yes. And I will need 2 microphones. One here, microphone there, one microphone there. Okay, yes, come here, please. We're about to finish, but before we finish, it's important to take advantage of having Katia and Jessica. The other one comes from? Okay, and we're going to have a very quick, simple, but effective round of questions. Okay, so I need 2 volunteer, not victims, volunteer teachers to make, in case you have 2 questions, one for Katia and one for Jessica. If you have one, please, 1 question for each one of them, just raise your hand. Any questions for Katia and Jess? Thank you. Can we have a microphone there? A microphone? Yes? Run, 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 run. Run, Forrest, run. There.
Sí, funciona.
Hello, dear teacher. What's your name?
My name is Yesenia Torre Tuyente.
Yesenia.
Yes.
Which school do you come from?
San Francisco de Asís School.
Amazing. Okay, so Miss Yesenia. For Katia? For both?
For both.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Miss Katia, she said that it's important to, when I learn English, I know think in English, but now there is a problem. How important is to teach vocabulary for the students in order you don't translate to our language? Because, for example, in my school, only 2 pedagogical hours for teaching English and no more. And also, at the same, for Miss Jessica,
It's about, you talk about the competence in the curriculum area. And my question is, because it's like a second language, we teach English like a second language, and it's different when we teach English in a private school, in a public school, like teach English 8 hours in a week. About that, how is the different and how to teach for the students in that case? That's it.
Thank you, sir. How you saying? First of all, as we were just it's impossible to reinforce the language if we don't get some vocabulary. So I was just showing you some strategies. Brainstorming is really important. Graphic organizers can help you a lot in order just to help the students improve and increase that range of words that you need in order just to communicate, to write, to read, and just to speak to, and even just with listening, right? I think that you can just practice vocabulary. No, you mentioned they have 2 hours. That's for school, right? So you start with music, with simple songs. You can start, depending on the level you are teaching, you just can start with music. I guess that everybody here, even us, just like singing and enjoying music. So that could be a piece of advice that I'd like to give you. Just to reinforce vocabulary through songs, like by using graphic organizers, and come on, do your best with a lot of love.
And in terms of getting all of the national curriculum into just those 2 hours, my suggestion would be to try to focus on those 4 modalities, reading, writing, speaking, and listening, in each hour. Right? Really trying to accomplish that, even if it's in small activities. For example, I showed you those worksheets or those textbooks where there's 3 modalities within one activity, right? And then the other suggestion would just be to have students, get them engaged with learning English, get them excited about learning English, and then hopefully that will translate to their home learning as well. They'll start to teach themselves by watching YouTube or TikTok or things like that.
Thanks, Jess, and thanks, Katia. And Yesenia, can you please come to the front? For being a very brave teacher that asks questions directly to our speakers, we want to give you a gift. Help, it's a grammar school. It's for primary, so maybe it helps you, maybe it's also a hack. So thanks so much for coming here. You're welcome. And there, we have another person there, behind.
Good evening.
Good evening, what's your name?
So my name is Susana Vilca Riquelme. So
Susan.
Yeah, Rosana.
Rosa, sorry, my bad.
Yes, I'm very happy to stay here, so I learned some else to teach English. But my problem in my English class is how we make the students speak. It's very difficult. What is the most useful strategy?
Great, thank you. Let's move on to one.
Sure, it's like that. Alright, so hi Rosanna. Alright, first of all, here when I ask someone to speak, we have just to provide you some tools, right? First of all, I consider it important to know what our students feel interested in. As you said, okay, it's impossible to ask first grader just to talk about politics. Even if they also hear probably some comments on their parents saying if this president is good or is bad, right? I think that you need to find the correct topic to start with. Once the students feel interested in what you are teaching, what you are showing them, they will start speaking. Right? I think that this is just a skill that we need to help them develop. Many people, even us, I mean, even me, right? So, as I say, I'm from Lima, Peru. Okay, so it's quite hard because we are probably afraid of making some mistakes. Today, when we were just coming with Jessica, I said, okay, sometimes it's like, okay, I'm afraid of what if I make a mistake, I mispronounce the word. So the thing is that you need to face those fears, right? And just, I mean, try to do whatever you can just to communicate. If we just give that confidence to our students, they will feel really good and they will start speaking. Sometimes no things, but sometimes we will do it really good. Right, and Jessica?
And building off of Katya, just being very intentional with your corrective feedback, right? If the error does not hinder comprehension, especially in low stakes speaking, you don't need to correct it, right? So if, for example, a student says something like, yesterday I go to the mall, right? It's not hindering comprehension, you're understanding what they're saying, so you do not need to jump in and say, no, you're wrong, right? The other thing that I was gonna say as well is just building up that confidence to speak. For example, when they come into the classroom, how was your weekend? What movie are you watching? What's your favorite video game, right? Those really low stakes questions. And a huge benefit I have as being a foreigner in Peru is I get to lie to all my students and say, I speak no Spanish. I don't know any Spanish at all. So when they say to me, oh, ¿cómo se dice? Nope, I don't know what you're talking about. As the English teacher, I'm only speaking English to you, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Roxana. Anna, can you help me with her rice? Yes? Is it another grammar spot? Or is it this time? Ah, no, it's a blue planet. Roxana, come here. It's a blue planet, it's a science. Good for you. Thanks. Okay, thank you, Katia, thank you. Yes, we're going to take a picture at the end before everyone goes. Go back and take your seat. And now we're going to do the raffle, okay? We have about how many prizes? 11, I believe? No, 10. We have 10 prizes, okay? So we're going to raffle, pay attention to your names. And if you're present, then great. But if the person has left, sorry, Molly, okay? So let's start. Please, if your name pops out, pay attention, stand up, and come to the front, really quickly, okay? Okay, let's do it. Another one. 1, 2, 3, let's go. It's about the speed. Elba, when was here?
Los premios son tiquetes a Dubái. Por eso se venden caros.
Jimmy Acuña. No. Oh, Jimmy. Next one. Surprise. Yaride. Present. Between Maria Laura and Maria Laura Layo.
El baile de cierre lo hacen los que ganaron el premio.
Funny, funny, funny.
Van a bailar.
It's a blank space once again. The ghost participant. And between Concepción and Madeleine. Madeleine, canto. Next one, next one. How many are we missing? 2? To the left, right? Julia Escobar. It stays in the house.
Buen registro hizo Julio.
The lucky man. Once again, Maria Laura Layo. No, she wasn't here, right? I don't think. And the last one goes to, the Oscar goes to. Elba. Elba is.
Elba Guarita.
Twice. You came twice.
Elba.
Okay.
¿Hay más premios?
No, finish, right? One more. We have one more. And now the Oscar and the final one goes to Madeleine, but she's not here. She's not here. Not here. Absent. Absent. Let's take another spin. Yes.
Es el último premio. Este ya que no estuvo ahí es Cartagena.
And Ana Francesca Jiménez, yes? Great. Okay, thank you, Ana Francesca. Let's take a picture, yes? Let's take a picture with all the winners. Katia, Jessica, do you mind? digitally, okay? So any question you've got, please contact our